across has changed is because of the Flynn effect. IQ has increased globally over the world, across the world, because of the Flynn effect. So if you have a problem, again, with lower IQ, look at medieval or middle-age Christian societies. And also, here's another big problem. IQ is also linked with race. So if you want to prioritize high IQ, you should discourage interbreeding between races. Why should higher average IQ from Asians or whites or Jews or whatever race that has a higher average?
So here's the thing. You know why IQ is also associated with race? Because IQ is genetic, or mostly, or half, at least half, often considered mostly genetic. So here's the thing. IQ does shape and form a little bit in the early years. So you probably get less than half or half of it from nurture, from certain things that are done during your early years. But half or more of it is genetic. So there is no escaping most of what your IQ is going to be. So when you therefore, your brothers, for example, or your sisters, your siblings are more likely to have a similar IQ as you do. For example, there's a study of if I remember correctly, two children that are not biologically related, one is adopted, one is part of the family, have a significant IQ difference, whereas two children that are biological siblings but are brought up in completely different separate families are much more likely to have a similar IQ. It's just because it is genetic. It is immediately genetic. But it is also fed through nurturing. Now, if it is associated with race because, of course, these families, like larger families, form a society which form what we call, sometimes wrongly, a race. If that certain race, that certain society, that certain population advances and advances and advances and is exposed to elements that make their IQ higher over time, they are more likely to, over time, increase their collective IQ. That is how IQ relates to race, that can be changed by a race going to a different place or advancing and all that.
The funny thing about that is white nationalists usually get excited about that, but the funny thing is the studies have also shown if you are racist, it correlates with lower IQ anyway. So like if you're like a white nationalist, you're like, oh, white people have higher IQ, you're very likely to have very low IQ, close to like, the very people you're attacking. So it's just one of those ironic things. Like, don't be a racist because you're stupid,
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, if you're this race, that means you have a lower IQ.
Right.
Is that race is lower? No, it is because there are different factors that contributed to that population having a lower IQ, and those factors can change over time. But one thing that is that will probably make your IQ not so good is Islam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
IQ, Christianity encourages or allows interbreeding between the races. That will result in a lower.
Actually, let me give an example that sounds a little bit offensive when we talk about it, but it is an example
this is a huge difference because this is like a couple points. It's negligible. It's not even noticeable between the races, especially when you're interbreeding. It is noticeable from the effects of cousin marriage, as Andrew has shown. So this is comparing like, a mountain and a molehill.
But here's the thing. I want to give an example that sounds a little bit offensive and racist and all that, but it's a very good example because it's directly observed. And I learned this in a psychology course myself. It's based on multiple different studies. So Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, has a much lower IQ than Western nations, than Western white nations, and North America, for example. With the slave trade and the moving of a lot of people from Africa to America, what happened over time is that people with significantly lower IQs came across the ocean and started living in a Western nation where people have significantly higher IQs, and started over time adapting to this higher IQ population, which is why you can observe that from the time that they went from Africa to North America, the IQ of Africans or African Americans has increased significantly, which is why now there is a huge difference between African American IQ and the IQ of those places that the African Americans generally are thought to have come from. So what that means is race itself doesn't determine IQ.
Yeah.
It is that race only determines it in terms of immediate genetics, but the environment contributes to your IQ and makes it higher or lower.
Yeah, it's more about populations and locations. If you're in like a low IQ area, I mean, it will appear that though that race is correlated with IQ, but it's other factors. When when other groups that are low IQ move to high IQ places, they assimilate, and collectively the IQ raises. Race has very little to do with it, as research has shown.
That's true.
Or allows interbreeding between the races, that will result in a lower IQ. So you should be against that, because that's going to, over time, lower the average IQ of society. So
It's not going to over time lower the IQ, dumbass.
Yeah, freaking idiot, man.
that should be something that you need to oppose to be consistent. Interracial marriage or interracial breeding should be contrary to your point, or contrary to your position. Also, yeah, I mean, I'm just shocked that your entire argument about why Christianity is better than Islam is a cousin marriage argument. That's like shocking.
Totally
because
caught
it
you
just
off guard.
works so far against you. Cousin marriage argument. Your entire argument about why Christianity is better than Islam is a cousin marriage argument.
Yeah, for society. That's the argument.
Yeah. Pretty based.
It's like shocking because it just works so far against you.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at
If
all.
IQ is the end all be all of
which he never claimed, that's a straw man. So.
Love Andrew's facial expressions during this. It's pretty awesome.
What makes a society good, then Christianity loses to atheism and secularism. Like
no, it actually doesn't. So.
It's closed. So like and many Christian societies are low IQ, as in the same way as certain Muslim countries. The thing about the difference between me and you is
most Muslim countries.
Keep using your time,
my
baby.
values are based.
So Muslims on average have a much lower IQ than Christians. That's just
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The point is the variable of cousin marriage, which has been shown to decrease IQ, and Islam does cause and allow that.
Yeah. So even if we did establish that there are more Christians in this certain region of the world, and therefore those people actually tend to have a lower IQ, that still wouldn't make the point, because we have already established that scientifically cousin marriages lowers the IQ.
Yep.
Based on marriage, family, traditional values of that nature, not atheistic values of IQ and intelligence.
You get that, guys?
Atheistic values.
You have atheistic values of intelligence. We reject that in Islam. We don't want them atheistic values like intelligence and IQ. We like our societies simple.
We want to be stupid.
We want retarded societies. It's what Allah wants. Alhamdulillah.
Why do you want to be intelligent? It's better to be retarded. It's better to be retarded. What's wrong with you? Everybody should be retarded. Being retarded is better. Are you stupid? Why do you want to be intelligent?
We're going to jump into Andrew's rebuttal as well. The timer is set for you. 5 minutes, Andrew.
Here it goes.
Libtard value. Don't fuck your first cousin. Libtard. Let me just point out that Daniel Haqiqatjou didn't actually rebut any of my arguments. Not a single one. My argument was simple, and I'll repeat it here again. The argument is that your society has to rely on the benevolence of mind to exist because of your general IQ. You see, remember how I told you the 70 to 85 is basic jobs, practical skills, routine labor? That's most Muslim societies, sir. Doesn't matter if you point out two exceptions to the rule. Even in those societies in which Christians have a lower IQ, guess what you find? Their interbreeding rates are going down, and when you compare them to the same Arab population where they're inbreeding, that section of the population, the IQ is always lower. So what's my argument here? My argument is that Christian societies are better because they lower inbreeding, which collectively takes your IQ so far down the rabbit trail that you end up having to beg the higher IQ individuals for protection from them. You have to bank on their benevolence. Imagine this guy is banking on the benevolence of Christians who have a high enough IQ to basically eradicate all of the Middle East. There's nothing they can do about it. And they're banking on that benevolence while telling you all that you're immoral. You're immoral. This is not.
I mean, let's just deconceptualize this for a second. This is literally what's happening today. This is literally what's going on.
Yeah.
It's all, I mean, especially with the whole Israel thing, right? With the Israel Palestine conflict, they're begging every day now. They're begging the world, especially the Western world, to come in and do something. Can you please save us from these mean Jews, please?
We keep trying to eradicate them, and then they won't let us, and then they fire back. It's so mean.
Why won't they let us kill them? Can you please help us kill them? Because they won't allow us to kill them. We just want to kill the Jews, but they won't let us.
Wait, you got to keep playing because he makes that point coming up here.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Not an atheist argument. Far and away. Well, the argument here is based around what it is that we're discussing. And what are we discussing? Which makes for better societies, right? Christianity or Islam? How can you claim you have better societies, sir, when half of your societies are so inbred, their IQs are like borderline retarded? How? How could this possibly be of benefit? And you know what they do when they go to other countries? They keep doing it. They keep doing it. Now he says, well, if you value IQ more than all other values, who said anything about that? The debate is not about that. It's about which makes for better societies. Now, which society would you rather live in? Would you rather live in a society of donkey pull cart, right? Donkey pull cart, because we're not smart enough to make car. We're not smart enough to even have infrastructure because we're at 70 IQ, 80 IQ, borderline retarded individuals. That's a society. Who's moving there? Who's moving? Nobody. They're all moving here. Why? Because they want the societies that Christians have. By the way, let me point a couple other things out. No, Christians are not stupid. Yes, their IQs are much higher, much, much higher. Even in non-white areas, they're much higher, sir.
Exactly.
Because they don't inbreed. And it's very frowned upon. Go figure. And interestingly enough, let me just point this out, that Christians have a much smarter enemy. Much smarter enemy. You're right. They do have a high IQ. You need high IQ people to combat that with these values. Islam can make no inroads. They don't have the technology. They can't mount an invasion. They can't even make a fucking power plant, right? How are they going to do that? Daniel, what's your big plan? His big plan is to bank on the fact that there's enough suicidal empathy in the West to keep on importing Muslims. That's about it. Yep. That's it. That could be his only plan. These people can't make armies. That requires massive organization and mobilization. You think that these people could ever attack the West? That's a laughable prospect. He started with Zionism. He has 10 million Jews in his backyard. They can't do shit about it. Nothing. 1 billion versus 10 million. They can't do anything. They launched their entire missile payload. It does nothing because of the IQ difference in these regions.
Oh, that was... But just so everyone knows, when he said that, I looked around the room for AP. I couldn't see him because he was on the floor. He fell over from laughter. He couldn't even hold himself up. He was on the floor. That was like, it was so perfect. And man, he got him there. So bad.
That is true. When I heard him say that, I lost it completely. But I was laughing so hard that people started looking back at me. Just,
dude, I mean, he's right. I mean, think about what just happened with Hezbollah and the pagers. Like these morons just got completely blown apart by the pagers. Like Hezbollah didn't think about this at all. They gave all these people pagers, and then boom, one day, and none of them thought maybe we should look at one of these to make sure there's no explosion. No, nothing. Oh, got a pager. We're fine. Israel is not this stupid.
I gotta hear that again about Israel.
There's 10 million Jews in a laughable prospect. He started with Zionism. He has 10 million Jews in his backyard. They can't do shit about it. Nothing. 1 billion versus 10 million. They can't do anything. They launched their entire missile payload. It does nothing because of the IQ difference in these regions. The IQ difference is so wide that if they even tried to.
I mean, he is right, man. He is right. So, in order to take down or even just make Israel stop fighting back, Hamas fired everything they had. They fired thousands of missiles on the day of the attack. They fired thousands of missiles after that. They kept firing and kept firing and kept firing. Hezbollah on the other side, from the north, kept firing and firing and firing. Other organizations joined in. Iran joined in. The Houthis, who are constantly high on some garbage, started shooting ballistic missiles. Nothing helps. They can't do anything. They're asking the entire Muslim world for help. And the entire Muslim world is outraged. And they're like, we have to stop Israel from fighting back. We have to do something. They can't do anything.
Yep. It's pretty bad for them right now.
And they have to ask and beg the West to help them somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Because they are retarded. That's that.
Well, pretty much that, yeah. Daniel's about to make the AI argument here. Like, I believe it makes it like 44 minutes in.
Missile payload, it does nothing because of the IQ difference in these regions. The IQ difference is so wide that if they even tried to collectivize, it would still be done, and they know it. And they can't collectivize anyway because it requires a high enough IQ to follow orders. Okay? So that's my argument. My argument basically is very simple. You have to have.
And I'm going to reveal some very disturbing things here, but according to the last data that was obtained on this stuff, the average IQ in Gaza is about 67.
Wow, that's horrible. Like, this is not something we want, but this is what Islam does to people. I don't want to hear about other humans with low IQ. That shouldn't happen. But this is what Islam does to people. Like, why do you think we're so against Islam and want to oppose this? This is one of the many reasons we just say over and over again, this is bad for humanity. Ditch this religion.
Whereas Israel is placed at somewhere between 92 and 99, considering that it has a 2 million Arab population.
Yeah.
And lots
You also
of
have to think,
imported from different places.
the average, like, IQ is a fluctuating metric.
Mhm.
It's 100 is always average. If collective humanity's IQ goes up, what 100 will just be the average. It'll be like what it was 110 like 20 or 30 years ago. So the average is always 100. So that's important to keep in mind. But I mean, like, if the collective IQ goes up, the average will go up. It will just appear as though it's still 100.
The average Ashkenazi Jewish IQ in Israel is somewhere above at least, so in a range of 105 to something. So you are dealing with such a huge disparity, man.
Yeah.
Over 100 versus 67. What the hell? It's basically superhumans against.
Man, Assad must have an easy job at the end of the day. I mean, honestly, I mean, I just picture it's like becomes like it's eventually just become an episode of Looney Tunes. Like, some Assad agent is gonna put on a wig and like lipstick like Bugs Bunny and just go out and like light a cigar for them, and it's gonna blow up, you know.
Man.
A high enough IQ to have a society to begin with. Christians make it by lowering everywhere they go. You fucking your family members. My God. Back to you, Daniel.